Any says NFTs are a scam. Any expand on that statement and try, if you can, expand on it in a delicate way. Imagine you had a family member that was a massive NFT fan, and they said, "Any, what do you think of NFTs?" And then you say, "That's a scam." And you've got to now explain to a relative why you think it's a scam in a soft way, if you can. And also, Any, what do you think the best things about NFT are? Maybe that's a fun exercise. I always think this is really good, by the way. If you ever, because I think in today's world, we can get very tribal about certain things, right? And things are either brilliant or amazing or terrible. And so there's lots of things I don't really know. I don't know that I have a loose opinion on, but I always try and think like, well, what's the best thing about the opposing point of view? And it's not to say that, you know, we just have to find everything has to be banned or something. I mean, for example, in my opinion, if you take something like climate change, I think actually the presenting two sides of an argument is a bit dumb in a weird sort of way. But I do think you can articulate things in a certain way that, yeah. Ooh, now this is close. So there's no fold equity here. So Hoppe should not jam that wide, and the speed of which he jammed, this should not be that frequently hand like jack to suited or anything like that. Ace suited here, very often dominated, isn't great when we're called, so we're going to make a fold, and hopefully it's going to be good. And it is good, so we're very happy with that fold. Pair for the win. Thank you very much for the follow. Now, of course, Ace suited would have absolutely smashed that board, and we would have been walking away with all our money, but in the long run, maybe it was a good fold. It's actually hard to say that, because we don't know exactly what this range is in the long run, but let's say in the long run against that hand, it's a good fold. Shocking insight. Brilliant. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, you're welcome. A6 off. We're jamming against the limp. We're jamming against the min. We're jamming against the shove. Every button we have is moving to the all-in. Nice and easy hand to play. It's a nice and unthinking one. So King 5-2 flop. Again, a very easy one, I think, to over limp stab here. Although not tons of King X. So a lot of the offsuit King X is going to be ISO jammed from our opponent. So I will actually still go for a bet. It is easy to over limp stab this. We have some nice equity. I'm not thrilled about calling a check raise. Would I call a check raise here? Probably not. But against the check call, well, we get to raise equity. And so let's just hit a 3, a 6, a jack, maybe a queen of hearts or something. 9 of clubs is none of the above. I don't think we're going to win this hand unless it goes check, check, and we're up against jack 3 in particular. Jack 3 of diamonds. Probably about it. Against a check, which, to be honest, he'll probably will be checking a lot of his 5x and 2x. Now, we could try and bluff for 9x, but I don't think it makes too much sense. And I think, to be honest, we'll just fold. We'll just fold. Don't know about that one. We could, when I say don't know about that one, obviously, like, the VPIP's absolutely standard and things like that. But the question would be, like, well, could we have not c-bet the flop and just gone check, check? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Hey, we got to win. We got to win. You can ISO jam this against certain people if they're limping very wide, for example. It wouldn't be a bad candidate as a bluff ISO. I play Event God mode a little bit, but not tons and tons and tons of info in terms of the kind of hands he's been limping. Read my notes. Takes a stab on this board, which is interesting. It should be, in theory, a very low stab board, but having said that, can we do that much of a hand? I mean, we have King High, which is something, but the 6 is not that interacting. We don't have a diamond or a club. King of Spades is pretty bad. I think we're just going to fold that. But we will obviously note that. It's an interesting limp stab on the 8 high board there. Will be a board that we have, in theory at least, a lot more. We have a lot more 2 2 pairs certainly, like 8-2, 7-2, not really in our opponent's limping range. I wouldn't expect so. I mean, maybe he limps super wide against us, but unlikely. King 7 will probably be good enough if the button folds. Yep, that'll definitely be it. And we'll go for it. King 3. Not going to dodge a 3, but now we're looking to hit a 7 only. Nah, not so good, not so good. We'll try one more. And then, oh yeah, I said I was going to take the break after that, but alright, after this, we'll take the break. Ace 9 suited, we'll go for a min raise. Ace 9 off, we just jam. Ace 9 suited, just go for a min raise. And you have to call a jam it. Fingers crossed. We're not up against ace king. But fingers crossed we hit a club, or a 6, or a 3, or a 7, or a 9. Just missed the out that we actually had. Easy call with our ace 8. So good luck, good luck. And for $1,500, can we dodge a queen or a jack? Yes, we can. Alright, lot 707 says, is my Jel Bahera the correct pronunciation? No. But I don't know what I'm trying to pronounce, but thank you lots for the question. Ot3 were, how are we doing, mate? Is it the same Slayer that with minus 50k in shot scope? Is he up with the rate? Yeah. So Slayer's always been a bit more of a high volume. I mean, he made like Diamond Club Elite tons of times, so yeah. Okay, so interesting spot here. I'm going to go with the probe. We could check raise this as well. We could check call sometimes, but I think check probing is going to be the best bet. Could go bigger, could go smaller. I think 1.5 is probably going to be the best bet. We have snap fold, so obviously wouldn't have minded doing something different with hindsight, but in the long term, probably the best bet is going to be that, I think. Not sure. Pontina Nera says the best software GTO for spins. Lots of good ones out there. Depends a little bit on your budget. Depends a little bit what you want to use it for. Depends a little bit on how technically proficient you are. I really like, for example, GTO Plus, but it requires you to put in the ranges. It requires you to solve. It requires you to do some work, choose bet sizes, etc., etc. But in terms of the value for money, it also has the most adaptability, node lock-in, things like that's great. If you want the opposite end of the spectrum, you just want something that's like clean and get up and go, Lucid's pretty good for that as well. And if you want something that's, let's say, a real solid package and money isn't part of the equation, then I would recommend Lucid GTO Base, because GTO Base I think is phenomenal in that aspect, where it's just a really powerful program. Obviously on a browser you can import some hands, you can review lots of different stuff, and it's got some nice list applications where you can see some of the patterns that are displayed, so that's pretty cool as well. There's also Insta GTO, there's PO, it's an old classic, there's GTO Wizard, probably forgetting some, apologies. Flopzilla, I really like, that's not GTO software, but I still really like it, so probably the most important in it. So good luck to everybody betting on this, by the way. Imagine I just sat out and you all lost, huh? It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna play well. VR says, just went on a website and it really is that music. I thought it was just a little joke for the halftime show. That's what I thought it was going to be. I kind of put, again, we're not telling Jack, all right? This is our little secret between all 100 plus of us, okay? Don't tell Jack Stack. The music's from a certain film that Jack may not have, or may not watch, or may not have recognised. He just thought it was a fun little tune. And then Wubsy kept being like, maybe you want to change the music. And then Jack was like, we're not changing the music. I love the music. It's the best bit about it. And it's like, do you want to change the music, Jack? No. And I was obviously encouraging. And then it went on the website. And now it's there in all its glory. There is a mute button. That is I'm pleased there's a mute button, because wow, does it just repeat endlessly and it gets slightly tilting. But please visit the Team 61 website. It's brand new. If you ever want to apply, so that's good. We are going to check the turn here. Agracha says, I can enjoy 6 of 1 if more tan, then half of them is tagged as fish in my stars. Feels bad. Man, convince me I'm wrong. Well, I won't try. Sonistis is now following. Thank you very much for the follow. Because maybe they were fish back in the day, or maybe they still remain fish. That's very possible. All I'll say is the 6 of 1 regs consistently across the board, across every stake, over very big samples, have outperformed thank you very much for the followers. Have outperformed the public, the shared liquidity pools quite a lot. And obviously there's a spectrum of regs, and so there'll be the best regs in 601 and the worst regs in 601. But I think they're all fundamentally, not all of them, but the majority of the guys I work with are, well, actually all the guys I work with regularly are fantastic individuals. And of course they do some dumb stuff. By the way, a lot of people have me marked as a recreational, and I'm totally fine with that. And I would also often mark myself as a recreational if I saw some of the stuff I do. Many times when you mark someone recreational, it could be that they may have taking certain lines based on alternative information that is not considered part of the orthodox strategy, and there can be very well reasoned thought behind that. And Ogris, for example, is someone that I really like, both professionally and also as on a personal level. I think he's fantastic. Love Teosks. Fantastic mental game. But I know he's someone that's also capable of taking advantage of certain situations, and so may make some more unorthodox moves that may seem a little could be perceived to be a little bit let's say unorthodox in terms of not GTO, but maybe he's done some node locking and understands certain situations. I'm always trying to encourage him actually to push things like that, so I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame fully. Anyone who got listed as a fish, just blame me. It's my fault probably. Trivo says, have you ever tried GTO Wizard for spins? I have not, but Wubsy has. And Wubsy loves it on his iPad with his little wizards. Because I prefer stuff he does with his little wizards. Doesn't do stuff with his wizards. No, he does. The claw, the wanking claw. Don't do stuff about the wanking claw.